You asked the AI for a function. It gave you 40 lines that looked perfect. You skimmed it, it ran, you shipped it. And if you are honest, you have no real idea what it actually does. I have been building software for over a decade, and I have never watched a tool change a code base this fast. AI coding assistants are genuinely brilliant. Copilot, Cursor, Claude, the agents that open pull requests while you sleep. They make you faster. That part is real. But here is the thing. Nobody puts on the marketing page. Speed does not delete tech debt. It just changes what tech debt looks like. We spent 20 years learning to spot the old kinds. The God object, the 2000 line controller, the commented out block from 2015 that everyone is scared to touch. Those are all still here. But there is a whole new category now, and it is sneakier because AI-generated code does not look like debt. It looks clean. It looks reviewed. It looks like a senior engineer wrote it on a good day. So today, 6 new kinds of tech debt you only get from AI-generated code. Let's start with the one hiding in plain sight. So the first one is the code that looks right, because that is the most dangerous kind there is. Here is what changed. When a junior engineer wrote bad code, it looked bad. Weird variable names, no error handling, obvious gaps. You could smell it in review. AI does not do that. AI writes code that is beautifully formatted, well-named, properly indented, with tidy little comments explaining each step. It reads like something a staff engineer produced, so your brain relaxes. You skim it. It compiles, the happy path works, you approve. What you did not notice is that the error handling swallows exceptions silently, or the pagination is off by 1 on the last page, or it is comparing 2 floats with a triple equals. The code is not wrong in a way you can see. It is wrong in a way that hides behind good presentation. We used to use messiness as a signal that something needed a closer look. AI-generated code deleted that signal entirely. Now the polish is the camouflage. Every function that looks too clean to question is a small bet that nobody is ever going to hit the edge case. Sometimes you lose that bet in production, at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. Here is the second one, and it is almost funny until it costs you a security incident. Hallucinated dependencies. You ask the AI to solve a problem, and it confidently writes an import for a package that sounds completely real. Something like fast JSON validator, or React used a bounce hook. Clean name, sensible API, exactly what you would expect the library to be called. There is just one problem. It does not exist. The model made it up. Now, most of the time, you catch this because the install fails and you move on. But 2 things go wrong. First, sometimes a helpful teammate just writes a wrapper to make the error go away, and now you have a real dependency built to satisfy a hallucination. Second, and this is the scary one, attackers have figured this out. They watch which package names the models hallucinate most often. Then they register those exact names on NPM and PyPI with malware inside. People call it slop squatting. So your AI suggests a package that does not exist. Someone installs it without looking, and now there is credential stealing code running in your build pipeline. A dependency that started life as a hallucination is a genuinely new attack surface. It did not exist 3 years ago. Number 3. And this one scales in the worst possible way. Copy-paste used to be slow, and that slowness quietly protected you. If you needed the same bit of logic in 15 places, the friction of writing it 15 times made you stop and think, maybe I should extract this. AI removed the friction completely. Now the assistant will happily generate the same slightly wrong pattern in every file you open, tirelessly, at machine speed. So instead of one bad date parsing function, you have the same subtly broken date parsing inlined across 40 components, each one just different enough that you cannot fix them with a single find and replace. This is duplication debt, but supercharged. The old version had a natural ceiling because humans get bored. The new version has no ceiling at all, and it gets worse because the AI learns the pattern from your existing code base. If your repo already contains a questionable approach, the model sees it, assumes it is the house style, and replicates it everywhere it possibly can. Your worst decision becomes the template. You are no longer writing one mistake. You are mass producing it. And by the time you notice, it is not a refactor anymore. It is an archaeology project. Moving on to number 4, which is the one that hands everyone a false sense of safety. Tests that pass and prove absolutely nothing. Ask an AI to write tests for your code, and it will. Loads of them. Green ticks everywhere. Coverage goes up. The dashboard looks fantastic. Everybody feels responsible. Then you actually read the test, and you find that half of them assert that a mock returns the value you told the mock to return, or they assert that a function was called, not that it did the right thing, or the absolute classic expect true to be true, sitting there like it means something. The AI is very good at generating things that have the shape of a test. Arrange, act, assert, all present and correct. But a test that never actually pins down behavior is worse than no test at all, because no test is at least honest about the risk. A meaningless test lies to you. It tells you this code is covered, this code is safe, go ahead and refactor. So you do, and nothing goes red, and you ship a regression with total confidence. Coverage percentage was always a weak metric. AI-generated tests turned it into pure theater. This next one is the quiet one, the kind of debt you do not feel until the worst possible moment. Nobody on your team actually understands this code. There is a specific new experience in modern engineering. A bug fires in production. You open the file, and not a single person on the call has ever really read it. It was generated. It was skimmed. It passed review in the loosest possible sense of the word. It works mostly, and so it just sat there, accruing importance while nobody built a real mental model of it. We used to have tribal knowledge. Someone always knew why the payments module was weird, because someone wrote it and suffered for it. That understanding was the actual asset, more than the code itself. AI-generated code can arrive with zero understanding attached. The knowledge was never in anyone's head, because no head was ever required. So, your bus factor is not 1. It is 0. And when it breaks, you are not debugging your own code. You are reverse engineering a stranger's work, except the stranger was a language model that does not remember writing it and cannot tell you what it was thinking. That is a genuinely new place to be stuck. And finally, the one that ties every other point together. You can now generate code far faster than any human can review it. This is the real structural shift. For the entire history of software, writing was the bottleneck. Review was cheap relative to creation. That balance held everything together because it meant every line eventually passed under a pair of human eyes that understood it. AI inverted that overnight. One engineer with an agent can now open more pull requests in a day than the whole team can meaningfully review in a week. So, what actually happens? Reviews get shallower. LGTM after a 10-second skim becomes the norm. The diff is 900 lines, and it is 5 p.m. on a Friday, so it gets a thumbs up and a prayer. Review, the single most important quality gate we have, quietly stops functioning. Not because anyone decided to skip it, but because the volume made real review impossible. This is the debt underneath all the others. Unreviewed plausible code is the source. Every hallucinated import, every fake test, every function nobody understands, all of it flows through the gate you stopped guarding. The bottleneck did not disappear. It just moved to the one place you were not watching. So here is the actual takeaway. AI did not create tech debt. It changed its physics. The old debt was loud and slow and honest about being a mess. The new debt is fast, clean, and confident, which makes it far harder to see. The tools are not the problem. They are extraordinary. The problem is treating generated code as if it arrived pre-reviewed just because it looks tidy. It did not. Someone still has to understand every line that ships, and that someone is you. So slow down at exactly the moment the tool makes you feel fastest. Read the code you did not write as carefully as the code you did. Because the speed is real, but so is the bill, and it always comes due. If this made you think about that pull request you rubber stamped this afternoon, you know what to do. Hit subscribe and then go actually read it before it reads you.